Holy Hey guys, welcome to 3C Film Reviews. I'm Chris. Let's talk about Captain America Civil War. So Captain America Civil War is directed by Joe and Anthony Russo. They're also responsible for directing the second Captain America movie, which is an amazing film. It's definitely my second favorite Marvel film of all time. Now it's actually number 3. But man, props to these directors. These guys just understand it. Joe and Anthony Russo understand the character of Captain America. They understand the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They are brilliant directors. If I could high-five you, Joe and Anthony Russo, I would right now. They did an amazing job with this film. They gave every character their justice. They had a plethora of characters. They had Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain America, Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, The Vision, War Machine. So many characters. You would think somewhere along the line somebody would get drowned out or faded out, but no, every character had their moment, and there is not one time where I'm sitting back looking on this film going, you know, I wish that character would have had something better, or I wish that character would have had a moment to shine. But no, guys, I didn't feel that way at all. And this is a great trial run for the Russo brothers because they're supposed to direct Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. And they just barely dove their feet into what it's like to direct some of these characters. Because come time to direct Infinity War, Captain America is no longer going to be the central piece. There's going to be other characters that they have to bring up to the same level of Captain America in screen time. But still, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about Captain America Civil War. So I know all the big YouTubers out there have already reviewed the film, have already talked about it, but little guys like me had to wait just a little bit longer to see it. Still, I got an advanced screening of it, and I got to see it a week before it hits theaters, and I'm very grateful for that because, man, I love this film if you cannot tell already. Let's start off with the story. So the story basically is the government is finally fed up with the Avengers and all the destruction they've caused. Yes, they're trying to save the world, but they're doing it without any supervision. No one is telling them what to do or when to do it. And you have two sides here. You have Team Captain America and Team Iron Man. And honestly, both sides are well balanced. You flip back and forth throughout the film. You wonder, man, am I on this side? Am I on this side? Of course, going into the film, I was Team Captain America. I represent Team Cap all the way. And not to give anything away, but a lot of the film, I found myself going, man, I think Iron Man is right on this. But then other times of the film, I was like, no, Captain America's got it. He's the one to go with. And you just go like that throughout the whole film, which again is just another credit to Joe and Anthony Russo and how wonderful they direct this film. So let's talk about the positives. One of the big positives is all the characters. Now, every character in this film feels vital to the story. All the superheroes get their time to shine. All the supporting cast have their important moments. Everybody has a purpose. But aside from storytelling and structure and character development, the superheroes were funny in this film. Every superhero had a one-liner, had a quick whip. They had great chemistry. I was very curious to see how Falcon and Winter Soldier would interact with each other, being that they're both sort of Captain America sidekicks. I thought it'd be kind of funny having best friends fighting over one another, and they kind of played on that in the film. I don't want to give away anything, but they do it so well. The Vision in this film, the Vision didn't get much time to shine in Avengers Age of Ultron character-wise, but in this film, he gets some very funny one-liners. He's very robotic, but still human at the same time. You definitely love Vision a lot more by the end of this film. In fact, I think every time the Vision is on screen, he kind of steals the show. Now, the introduction of 2 new characters to the MCU, Black Panther and Spider-Man, were handled perfectly. Black Panther does overshadow Spider-Man in screen time, but that's just the way it is. They didn't want to give away too much of Spider-Man. So basically, guys, the characters in this film are a big positive. You love every single superhero, and you hate every villain in this film as well. And I mean hate in a good way. Another positive in this film is the action. Now, the action is non-stop. I remember the days where action was cut into 3 parts, where you have a beginning action scene, you have a middle action scene, and you have a finale action scene. The Russo brothers take that formula and totally throw it away. The Russo brothers have action scene, action scene, action scene, action scene, action scene. I'd say there is one action scene after every 10 minutes. And even with that said, the action scene does not feel overdone. There's no point where I'm sitting there like, okay, this is kind of taking long. Let's move it along. No, I loved every second of it, and honestly, I just want to see a lot more of that. Of course, the main action scene I'm talking about is the airport scene. That scene where you see in all the commercials and trailers where the heroes are running towards each other and they have an epic fight. I ended up looking online, and that scene is 17 minutes long. And guys, it does not feel that long. That scene could have been 30 minutes long, and I would have been so happy. By the time the scene was over, I was like, no, I want to see more. But even before and after that action scene, there are still other action scenes that don't quite live up to that, but they're still wonderful to look at. The choreography is perfect. That's just the Russo brothers. They know how to handle action. This film is funny. MCU just knows how to handle that humor within a film. At no point does it ever feel like too much. At no point do I feel there wasn't enough. It was just right. Another positive of the film is definitely the conflict. Now, the conflict is all well set up, and you understand why these characters are on different sides. Even if you take away everything that happened in the Avengers Age of Ultron, the Winter Soldier, all the build-up the MCU has been doing for this film, even if you take all those films away and just watch this, it does a great job of telling you why these heroes are at odds. It tells you why these accords are happening, why they're on the sides they're on, and why they don't agree. Honestly, I could just go on and on and on about the positives of this film because there are so many great things about this film, but the period point is you need to go watch this film. If you are an MCU fan, you will definitely love it. It might become your favorite film of all time. I still would put Avengers at the very top of my list and have Civil War right there. The only reason I basically put it above Winter Soldier is because it has Spider-Man in this film, and they just got Spider-Man down perfectly. Honestly, I could do a whole video of why I love Spider-Man in this film. From my intro alone, you should see why I love the guy so much. And Tom Holland, you did an amazing job, man. I know you're probably not watching this. For sure not going to hate Tom Holland throughout the MCU because he is definitely here to stay. Does anyone else notice that Tom Holland looks a lot like Drake Bell from Drake and Josh? Maybe that's just me. Of course, though, like any film, it's not perfect. Still, I'd say it's maybe 2% away from being perfect. I absolutely love this film. But the negatives I'm going to give are actually very nitpicky. Like all MCU films, the villain fails a little bit. I'm actually going to defend the villain to a point. I'm not going to defend him on this review because it will give away some spoilers. But when I put out a spoiler review, I will tell you why I defend this villain. But even that, who the character is supposed to be, does not live up to that, unfortunately. And he is a little overshadowed, and he doesn't even have that much screen time. So that's one of the gripes. That's really the only negative. There's nothing else wrong with this film. There's nothing I can think of. I'm speechless out of a negative on this film. Call me a Marvel fanboy, call me whatever you want, but the MCU just does a good job of delivering great films. And when they deliver as well as they did in this film, I'm not going to hold back. If there's anything really wrong with this film, I would tell you, but that was the only thing I could think of was the villain. But anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you thought about the film. Are there any points you agree with me on? Any points you disagree with me on? Please let me know down below. Try not to give away any spoilers, please. Some of the people have not seen the film yet. But as always, guys, I'm Chris, and I leave you with 3C Film Review. Take care.